So I finished watching the Tommy Robinson video, and yeah, I found it interesting how a girl had a black eye and actually had real proof that this person wasn't a good. I mean, I find it astonishing how such a small clip could end up in court. Some boy got some water squirted in his face, and okay, maybe there was a bit of a, it looked like a little bit of a punch, and like just a wrap around your neck, and sort of, it looked like a tiny bit of bullying. That's what it looked like. And there was teacher reports saying that this boy wasn't a good person, or what might have been a liar, might have lied on occasion. And then you've got a report of a girl who's got a good record, and an allegation that she made that this guy hit her and punched her. And then you've got another allegation of how he ended up with it in a sling, which is that he headlocked a boy that was a lot younger than him, and someone pushed him off, and that's how he ended up getting in his arm in his sling. And it's annoying how the court wasn't set up to defend the younger boy who he tried to put in a headlock, and it wasn't about the threats that he was making to the person who hit him, put the water in his mouth, his sisters. Apparently there was he was threatening to rape his 9-year-old sisters, or other sisters, and one of them being 9. And then there was a blonde girl with a black eye, and the court wasn't interested in any of those people. They were just interested in this one case where one had water squirted in their face, and then a journalist was trying to report the truth because BBC was reporting it as being this poor refugee guy who was running away from a horrible, nasty country, and he's come here and he's had water squirted in his face, and oh, poor him, isn't this such a sad story? And he's got a GoFundMe page that raises up £150,000 to help him recover from the water that's got squirted in his face, even though he's actually supposed to be fleeing from a country where people want to rip him up or kill him. And this whole thing doesn't make any sense. This whole thing makes no sense, and therefore I feel like, is it even true? What the fuck are courts doing? I know my mum is going into a high crown court over an alleged push. I mean, these cases shouldn't be being picked up. The court should just say, what was the incident? When was it? Have you seen that person in 5 years? No, so why are we still taking these people to court? I mean, you shouldn't even be taken to a court for a year. If someone's got a restraining order on someone and a year has passed and nothing happened, and okay, he's making out that he sat next to her during a court hearing and she said a couple of words. She said, "Are you happy now?" when he won custody of the child. That can't be counted as breaking a breach of the license of the restraining order. I mean, that can't count as it. So why is he managed to got that one tiny event and stretched it for another 2 years and then stretched it? I think there should be. I think you need to I don't know what is going on, because this is all nonsense. This is all brainless, mindless robots in the court system, not knowing what the fuck a true crime is, and if someone's alleging abuse on someone, you need to show the pictures. And okay, there was a video clip of him having water squirted in his mouth by a bottle. I mean, this is nothing. Most courts should just be like, wipe my hands of this. I don't want to have anything to do with this. So I don't understand why this would be a thing. I mean, maybe it's just a thing because Tommy Robinson is supposed to be building up a big crowd of people to turn against both the courts and the government and stuff like this. And maybe this is all done because the courts and the government want to turn against Islam, but they're too fearful of doing that. So I'm trying to think, I know the outcome of what that video has happened. The video itself just seems meaningless and pointless, but maybe that's the point. To make a video that's all meaningless and pointless and put him into jail for something that's meaningless and pointless, and he shouldn't have gone to jail for that. And by putting him in jail, I don't even know if he has been in jail. You could anger the crowd over the sort of nonsense that the courts are doing. Maybe this was the point. Maybe the government know that there's a bunch of losers that don't have brains inside the court system operating things, and this is all being done to try and expose the courts and their mindlessness. That there's some intelligent souls and some dumb souls, and you can't tell who they are by their looks. And if there are some very unintelligent people in the court system, you know, there needs to be someone that goes through all these court hearings and thinks, do these people actually need to be going into court? What is the crime? You know, there was a lady that I saw was just on the phone saying that, oh no, these aggressive people are coming, they're putting up flags, no one likes them, they're racist, they're this, they're that, they're this, and there was no fear in her voice. There was no fear of these people. She was standing on a pole that they were trying to put a ladder on to put a flag up. If she was fearful of these people, she wouldn't be there. She would be hiding in her house, scared. She isn't. She wasn't scared. She was getting in their way. She was pushing the ladder off. She was aggravating them. They were just trying to put up a flag, and she was saying that they're racist in front of them on a phone, literally aggravating. This is how you aggravate them. You aggravate people by saying, you know what, I'm going to go to the police over this stupid little thing. You broke my shoe. Your ladder clipped to my shoe, and now it's broken. Even though the only reason why your shoe was there in the first place was because you were putting your foot on the ground that they were trying to put the ladder on, so to put up the flag. You know, this is not a case that should go to the police, but it's a case that if it does go to the police need to make a record of this, but make a record of the people that are making these false allegations. Because if that lady goes on to start accusing other people of doing things that they haven't done, you need to know who these people are that are happy to make false allegations. My sister's ex-husband is someone who makes false allegations because he's been dragging. I don't even know why my mum has been going into court every 6 months for the last 5 years over one push that he allegedly pushed her. Oh no, she allegedly pushed him, but my mum is saying that it was actually the other way around. She pushed him. It's just one tiny push. This should not be, the court should not be taking something like this seriously. No bruises, no marks, no, you know, and in that case there was a bruise, there was a mark. That woman, there was a blonde girl who had an image of a big black eye that this guy allegedly knew. She should be the one that's in court. But you know what? The good people don't want to hassle the court. The good people who are actually, who are actually the victims, they don't want to hassle the public. They don't want they don't want to have all this aggravation of having to go to court and wasting taxpayers' money on silly things. But the stupid people who are heartless and don't care about other people, they do want to drag them to court. They do want to say, you know what, I want to hurt, you know, the attacker wants to hurt people. Now you have to remember that. Now if an attacker wants to hurt someone but knows that they can't because they're going to go to jail, what do? They'll go to the police, they'll go to the government, they'll go to higher upper forces, and they'll attack that person using these people. And I think the government and the law enforcement need to be far more aware that these people are existing, and they want to be the attacker, but they know that they're going to be put in jail if they are attacker. You know, she was attacking that man with the flag by not respecting the fact that he wanted to put the flag up, by not respecting that this is the country that belongs, this is a flag that belongs in this country, and she was being aggressive to him, but she didn't want to be physically aggressive to him because she knew that would, you know, if she would have slapped him or physically attacked him, he would have used that as evidence that, you know, she's the bad one. Hence, she would have used that clip to go to jail and been probably put in jail over it, over breach of the peace or whatever. I mean, technically what she was doing was breaching of the peace. He was just putting a flag up very peacefully, not saying anything, not doing anything, and she was the one who was attacking him by calling him racist and saying that it's wrong to put up flags and that he's threatening and stuff like that. She was on the phone to someone complaining about this. Now, to me, this was an attacker who was using her voice to call up some higher authority to do the actual attacking. And governments need to be aware that there are a lot of people like this, and I think you need to actually take a report on it, find out who did it. For every person that starts making things like this, you know, there should be a police report on that person. Get that person's name and address, and make a report saying not that this person was scared of this person, not that this person was actually hit or attacked, but this person was getting in the way of someone else wanting to put up a flag, which is a very harmless thing. And you know, even if it's not to do with a flag, if it's just anything, if someone is making allegations and they've got loads of police reports against people, but there's no bruises, no marks, no evidence that this took place, you need to you don't have to arrest that person, but you need to take a note down that this person has tried to do it, has tried to bully someone, has tried to use the police to attack someone, and that person needs to have some sort of record there's a whole thing of a criminal record and it being such a big thing. You know what? I think every single person should have a record like this, whether it's a criminal record. It should just be their record, you know, because if they've got a habit of constantly saying, oh, I don't like this neighbour, oh, this neighbour did this neighbour did this, you know, if you've got a big long record of all the things, all the reports that they've tried to waste time on by getting police involved to attack others, you know, if they've got a record of it, you know what type of person you're dealing with. And I don't know how the police force is doing this. There shouldn't be massive forms and huge hours. They just write it down, person's name, person's address, put it, you know, the postcode and stuff, and just say this person made a report against this person, and she said this, that, this, but we noticed that there was no bruising, and she did seem aggressive towards that person, you know, because that's what my report is. My report would be, if someone's making a claim that someone else is aggressive, the policeman needs to ask, is this person being aggressive towards that person, and has failed to be aggressive because that person's not threatened, and so she's just going to the higher authorities to try and use the higher authorities to be more aggressive, you know, is that what's happened? Because I think a lot of victims don't want to waste the police time. They might get a black eye, but they think it'll be healed in a couple of weeks, so they'll put up with it. And then what? There's a court in that hearing. So she said that she got a black eye, but it was written down in the courts that she was lying and that she didn't have a black eye. So where's this picture come from then? I'm confused. Why would she lie about having a black eye to defend Tommy when she doesn't even know Tommy, and when, you know, there's a picture of her with a black eye? Like I didn't understand. And Tommy also had a message from her mum saying that this, you know, this black eye has taken a long time to heal, and you can still see it at night and stuff, or when she's tired, you can see the black eye still and stuff. And, you know, I don't know what the court systems are going on, but I know that the police need to start being really smart and start being aware that there are a lot of people who are only using the police force or government force or councils to attack other people. And you shouldn't just assume that if someone's making an allegation that you should pick up on that case and take it seriously. There's some things you should take seriously. If someone's saying that they were drugged and they think they've had sex with lots of people because of it, you know, that's something you should take very seriously. And the idea that the police weren't taking those crimes seriously, but are taking the reports of people saying that there's an aggressive flag putter-upper, and I'm calling him a racist, and I'm doing all this stuff in front of him to aggravate him, and talking to other people about how horrible this is in front of him to aggravate him, yet for some reason I'm not considered to be the aggressor. You know, I don't know. I don't trust people. I don't like people. I don't trust people. I think people are very stupid, very mad, very dumb, and I had this false perspective of how people are because of all the films that I was watching and just assuming that everyone's smart. But, you know, I think the films have just were in the past just made through people that have had very good scripts. They've made everyone seem nice, and they made the world seem nice, and I just think that's not a true reflection on how people are. And yeah, I need to say all that. I had this gorgeous beef meal that was taken from, I went to food bank like 7 weeks ago, and they gave me this big pork thing. I had half of it on the first day and then half of it on the second day. But yeah, yesterday morning I woke up with my stomach sounded like a sea. It was going for about a whole hour. I was just hearing like constant, you know, like on the sea when it's on the waves when they crash against the sea. My stomach was just sounding like that for about an hour, and then I got very severe diarrhea, which is really annoying because it tasted so good. But I have a feeling that when they took that meat thing out, it probably semi-defrosted, because they said it'd been out for 2 hours, and then I cycled home, which probably took me another 20 minutes. But yeah, maybe it was out for 3 hours, maybe it had semi-defrosted, and maybe I put it back in the fridge, and it might have been okay the first time I ate it. Nothing happened the first time I ate half, but when I came to eat the second half, yes, it didn't settle very well. But anyway, I just thought I'd say that. I didn't do much yesterday. I just went to the spa. But yes, I don't know what to say now.